The world is at war. Bombs are dropping. Here at home, women are losing their rights. And Americans are being killed in the streets by the government. What's causing it? Toxic masculinity. And what is the answer? The divine masculine. And we talk about it on this week's Hope Show. And here are your hosts, Eric Lamont and Tara String.
It never is. It just never is.
Listen, man.
I liked it, though. I did like it.
Good afternoon, guys. What you have to know is that sometimes Terrace is not privy to the intros. And so I have fun not only bringing it to you guys, but also bringing it to Terrace.
Oh, my goodness. I see somebody that got him a fresh cut after the last show. After, yeah, you.
I don't know if it's been, we haven't been on in a couple of weeks now. It's probably been 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And are you referring to the fact that I was extra woolly the last time? Because
it happens. It happens to the best of us.
Yeah, I was searching for a new barber because my barber was charging me $60, and I don't have enough hair to $60. And so, man, this show. So after the last show, where I was roasted and skewered about what I thought was the right thing, the right way to define one's masculinity, that young lady who basically said that if you can't do things with your hands, you are not a man. And then she defended men with ponytails. And I just want you to know that I was completely blown away as we were talking about the divine feminine. And so we're coming back this week and talking about divine masculine. But
I just got to ask you a couple questions, Dr. Lamont.
Yeah. Okay.
Annie, are you okay? Are you okay, Annie? Annie, are you okay?
I have to admit, from my worldview, I thought I was the epitome of the perfect man. And when I found out that young lady valued, being able to put a freaking bookshelf together, more than being able to pay for a bookshelf being put together. It was a different view for me that I admit it took me a couple of days to recover from that.
Well, she not only impacted you, she impacted me and my son. She impacted all of us. We call ourselves.
But I got to tell you, I did some. It sent me. It sent me on a quest for more answers.
Right.
And I found something that said that a man that uses his hands or works with his hands is this, right? A man that works with his hands and his brain is this. But the man that works with his hands, his brain, and his heart, that's a man. So
you know what? I love it.
I need to find that and email that to her, maybe change her perspective a little bit.
There you go. Yeah, I love it. That's a mature response. You know what I mean? That's great. Yeah.
It was very, very interesting. So to the Hope Show family, welcome to the Hope Show. I am Eric Lamont. I am the master of maniacal doubt. I am the co-host, along with the spiritual soothsayer, the high priest of purity.
Oh man, here we go.
The man who you do not want to ask, hey, where's the party tonight? Because he ain't going. He's staying at home and trying to help people fix their lives and healing people.
Yeah.
We're a little more than halfway through our inaugural season. We've covered some decent topics, but this week's topic's a good one. Tonight's show is brought to you by the Democracy Headquarters, www.democracyheadquarters.com. And this shirt has never been more perfect. They sent this shirt over to us, right? We've been sharing this one for a while, but given what's going on in the world, this one says, make America civil again, right?
Got that right.
So thank you to the folks over the Democracy Headquarters for bringing you the show this week. Tonight's show is about the divine masculine. Admittedly, I didn't even know what that was, Terrence. You used to bring this stuff up, right? You just start talking about the divine masculine, the divine feminine. And so I didn't really know what it was until we started to look at trying to plan some episodes. I didn't even think the word divine went with the word masculine, right? It seems like a mismatch to me, like an oxymoron. And first of all, it does help to be able to spell it right, because I think we spelled it wrong last week on the screen. I spelled it wrong last week on the screen, so we got it spelled right. But today's episode is a companion episode to Divine Feminine, which we just finished in our last episode. It addresses the crisis in modern masculinity by examining a few of the viral extremes and revealing the spiritual truth about the divine masculine energy and what it represents. And Terrence, this is our challenge today. You know, men are being asked to choose between toxic aggression or complete passivity, and it's not working, right?
No, it's not gonna work. No. Yeah. This is why we're having these conversations, and this is why we're doing these shows to try to help, to help the conversation in a positive way move towards balance.
Move the conversation.
Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, we live in a world of hyper masculinity. And I've heard you talk about it all the time, the whole concept of patriarchal societies, et cetera. Mm-hmm. So, it is kind of where we are today. So I've got a treat, right? So I have obviously have done some research, right?
Of course.
And I also have made it possible for us to have some videos. And so we're going to dive right in. So what I'm going to do, and to the folks at home, Terrence has not seen these videos.
Here we go.
And so you guys get to see the videos at the same time as him.
So hold on, Eric, just a second before you start the videos, okay?
Sure.
Because, when I named the show, you made a comment, about the balanced blade.
Can we please talk about that?
Okay.
Yeah. And so there were a couple of other show topic ideas. Our topic tonight is the balanced blade, the return of the divine masculine. And I, the other ideas, some of the other ideas were Kings Without Crowns, Divine Masculine Revolution, Real Men, Real Power, Awakening the Sacred Masculine, From Toxic to Divine, the New Masculine Blueprint. But this is one of those where Taylor's like, I got the title. He sent it over. I'm like, all right, let's go with it. But I didn't know, you brought a blade.
Here's the blade, family.
What the hell is that thing?
The blade exists.
What is that? What is that?
This is the balanced blade, brother. Okay, you walk through these doors unannounced.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Then we're gonna take care of some balancing. Okay, I just want you to know that this exists. Okay,
this is the job.
We are the divine protectors. Okay, so this is for Janae from the last show and all these women giving us a hard time about men. This is the balanced blade right here.
Where'd you buy that thing?
Listen, you don't need to ask that, okay?
I do need to ask that. And where do you store it when it's just hanging out in your crib?
Well,
you keep it under your bed?
Don't keep it under my bed. I keep it by the door. Huh? I keep it by the door. This is the blade of balance right here.
And you live in a large American city. And if you pull that blade out in the city you live in, you're going to save yourself and protect yourself, because whoever comes through that door is going to laugh themselves to death if you pull that thing.
Oh, yeah, they're going to laugh themselves, all right. They're going to laugh themselves right to the cemetery, okay? You best believe that, Dr. Lamont. I just wanted you and the Facebook family to understand that the balanced blade exists, okay? It's for all us men out there trying to get ourselves together, okay? You may proceed, host.
You going with your bad self, and you keep the balance in the blade wherever else goes in. And Lord have mercy.
Yeah, I had a surprise too.
When I come to your house, I want to see where you keep that thing.
Okay, no problem.
Seriously, because I've been to your house before and I never saw it, which is probably a good thing.
Yeah, well, a good thing. That's because you're friendly. You're friendly. Okay, you're not foe. Only foes.
Thank God I am friendly, because I have never seen that thing.
Yeah, well, now you know. That's why that's the balanced blade. Okay. Don't worry, I'll send you one for the holidays. Don't even worry about it. I got you.
Yeah, you save that money, please.
Okay, you now.
Save that money, huh? You know what? Save that money and put a bookshelf together with it or something.
Yeah, you're probably right about that. You're probably right about that.
So we're going to dive right in. So I found this guy who is his name is
Oh yeah, I know him.
Andrew Tate.
Oh, here we go. Oh boy. Oh my goodness.
Glad you know Andrew Tate.
Why? I would have stopped you. Okay. Oh God.
Well, you know, I think given kind of where we are, I think it's probably best that we share this. So this is Andrew Tate, and he has claimed that, just to tee him up, he kind of purports himself to be like the expert on masculinity and success, right? And so he does these videos, got a little bit of a following. He once said that women were intrinsically lazy and incapable of independent thought and the property of men. And so we're going to dive right in.
He really said that?
Really? Well, here it is. You can hear it for yourself.
Oh my God. Okay, I don't hear anything. Nope. No sound.
This is a problem because I've got it here. I'm gonna stop it.
Yep. No sound.
Out. Let's try that again. You didn't hear anything, huh?
No, I didn't hear anything. And I'm okay with that, but okay. Yeah. I know that's not what you intended, but yeah.
No, I'm pretty sure. Well, yeah, he was just saying that women are the property of men. Let's see if we can hear it now. Nothing?
Nothing.
All right, well, I can hear them. So here's the thing. So
I don't know why
he is saying women are the property of men. He legitimately believes that a father gives, or someone in a wedding turns that person over to the man, and that the man owns the woman. And he legitimately believes that. He also has videos where he is basically saying that if you are a successful man, that you basically, it is your responsibility to make the money and buy the boat, and then adorn your boat with women who are your property. And this is what he believes. And that is his very definition of masculinity, right? And you have to admit that, you know, there are a lot of people who believe exactly that.
That is true, and it is definitely causing a problem worldwide with our women. It is yes, you're right. I wish we could hear it. I honestly do. I don't know if
that's going to happen. I'm not sure why.
I don't know why that's happening.
The beauty of live.
I can't hear them, and I can hear you fine, but I can't hear the video on my end at all. I don't know what's going on with that. But he does believe that. They have a following of guys that believe that. You know, the whole problem is just, again, you know, being out of balance, you know.
Yeah.
It just pisses women off so badly. Like, it's a problem. You know, and first of all, it's not accurate. You know, it's not.
So what's inaccurate about it?
Well,
I mean, that tradition clearly was a tradition that was started at some point.
Absolutely. And that is accurate. Like, there are a lot of guys that believe that. That is true. But energetically, it doesn't add up, because we all possess masculine and feminine energies within all of us. And balance those energies within ourselves, right? Because when we go too far one way or the other, we throw everything out of balance. We start doing things out of balance. And so the goal of being back here is homeostasis, or balance, you know? And so we see right now what's going on in the world when there's too much of toxic masculinity making decisions and trying to guide us, which is the purpose of the masculine. But when you're just creating wars and killing and not considering, and we're out of balance. We're out of balance. And we believe that those that are in power believe that that's the only way to get the job done. It's not the only way to get the job done. But they believe that with all the machismo and stuff. They believe that. So,
yeah. So, let's talk a little bit about that. I mean, if you look at what's happening with the world right now, right, we are bombing the heck out of Iran, and we don't really know why. And it seems like the very I'm
only to cut you off, Eric. And you're right. That's very interesting that we don't really know why, right? Yeah. So we have all this going on, and putting all this negative energy out there and this hate and pushback, and we don't even know why.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So it's like, are they afraid that if we knew we wouldn't support them, or are they afraid that we can't handle the truth, whatever. But the fact of the matter is we have this going on. It could escalate and we don't know why.
Yeah. Yeah, totally with you on that. So let's see if I'm going to try this one more time to see if we can get him talking, if we can actually hear the audio.
I understand that with my newfound fame, perhaps it could be phrased differently. However, I still believe that a woman is given to the man in marriage. That's what I believe.
Yeah, but not as property.
No, the property is the word that other people use when they ask me the question.
But as an equal partner in a loving union, that's what marriage actually means. It doesn't mean that when you get married, the woman is given to you as a bit of chattel.
Agreed.
So why say it?
But that's the way that people ask me the question. People say to me, they ask the
question.
Hang on,
you can't blame people for asking you questions. Surely, if you want to be accountable for what you've said, you've got to own your responses, not blame the question.
I own the response.
Like me asking you a question now and you say something and then say, well, actually, I blame you for asking.
I understand, Piers. I understand. I believe the woman is given to the man. I believe she's given away by the father. I believe she belongs to the man.
So fundamentally, you do believe that a woman becomes a man's property at marriage.
I believe she belongs to the man in marriage, correct.
All right. What say you, Mr. Wright?
We're living out a dream that
See, I can
discredit Stephen A. for what he's done in his career. I'm in this business because of Stephen A. Smith.
What say you, Mr. Wright, about that guy?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of men feel that way. For that matter, a lot of women feel that way. People feel that way. But the reality is that when you get married, and you've been married for some years now, we all have a choice. You agree to be in that arrangement, right? In that marriage, you agree. You're not property. Anyone can leave whenever they want, right? The goal is to create an environment to where you want to be there and you both blossom as souls, right? Because that's the purpose. Because when you look at all the relationships that we have, the purpose of, and whether we realize this or not, the purpose of these relationships, they're basically mirrors, okay? They're mirrors to help you to evolve and grow. That's what they are. And so when you're going through all of your relationships with your children, with your spouses, friends, or whatever, it is all about you learning about yourself. And you do that through these relationships. Yeah. So it's not an issue.
But so what 20% of relationships, the other 80%, they're not learning squat.
Oh, they are. They are learning. They're reflecting back. If they're miserable and angry and choose not to evolve, they're getting that reflected back to them. They're learning whether they want to or not. The question is, what are they learning? There are many people who are in marriages that is nothing more than self-punishment.
You believe a lot in that self-punishment thing, and people choose.
Well, what I'm saying is that we certainly do create our realities, and we get back what we put out there. We get it back what we put out to our children. We get back what we put out to our spouses. because everyone around you are basically reflections of you and where you are at the time. They're mirrors. And so instead of judging my partner, it's the same thing with you and I, Dr. Lamont. You know, instead of me judging you, I need to look at myself. You know, it's about me more than it is about you. And when you understand that, you understand it's about you more than it is about me.
So how does that translate to this guy just being a toxic male?
Yeah,
I don't think he's trying to learn anything. You show me how he clearly has.
I think part of it is for clickbait, to be honest. I think he's saying a lot of that to get a rise. Now, I do believe that there's a big.
I'm sure he believes it.
Yeah, I think he believes it. And he's going to always listen, whatever you put out there, you're going to have people that's going to follow you and believe it. So I get that. And that's how it is down here and everything. And that's fine, you know. But yeah, I'm sure he believes it. I'm not sure that's something. I'm sure you don't want to teach that to your children or to your son. I'm not trying to teach that perspective to my son, and for good reason, you know, because you don't want the resistance that comes along with that skewed perspective.
Right.
Because many of us had parents that we struggle with that may have had that perspective, and we know intimately the resistance that it creates. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I'm not disagreeing with you.
I know.
I just, you know.
Look, you're the one that surprised me with that video. So, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, guess what?
We got me asking, Annie, are you okay? Are you okay?
Right. Well, here's another one. And again, this is in that theme of, you know, what it means to be a man. This is one where he believes that that depression is not real. Right. You know, for men, that's one of the things that we've always struggled with, that we don't believe necessarily in mental health, and we always take things on ourselves. But this is one where he is saying that he does not believe that depression is real. And make sure we got the audio on this one.
Depression is not feeling depressed.
I hear it.
So you can feel depressed, but you feel depressed, and that is a natural biological evolutionary trigger for you to change something in your life. That's your own mind telling you you're unhappy about X. If I went to jail today, I'd be depressed because I'm in jail. Right. I haven't caught depression. I don't have a disease. I'm just upset with my situation. Yep. I have people message me all the time. I'm fat and I can't get a girlfriend because I'm depressed. I'm like, no, pancake lover. You're depressed. You're fat. And you can't get a girlfriend. Do you understand? Yeah. No matter what the worst thing that could possibly happen to me on earth, I will feel sad, but I will recover and I will not become depressed because I don't believe in depression. If you're in an old haunted house, right? You have two people in two haunted houses. One believes in ghosts and one doesn't. You hear some noise in the night. The wind blows, right? The man who believes in ghosts is like, oh no, a ghost. Now he's scared, right? He wants an exorcist. He can't sleep. He's scared about ghosts. He's paranoid. The guy who doesn't believe in ghosts goes, wind, whatever, and goes back to sleep. Do you understand that it's the belief that gives it power?
Right. All right. What's wrong with that?
That brother's going to end up possessed. That's what's going to happen. He's going to mess around, end up possessed, and kill everybody in the house. Okay. See, this is what I'm talking about. I don't mean to be like this, but he is. First of all, he is. Okay, listen. Okay, I gotta calm down. Why would you do this to me? Okay. See, we need to screen this video. Now I see why the sound didn't work at first. We should have kept it that way. First of all, depression is anger turned inward, or anger that you feel like you don't have the right to have. So that's the first thing. It's something far deeper. Okay. Yes, you can be upset that you don't have a girlfriend. That's fine. But depression is something entirely different.
I think he's completely ignoring all of the clinical stuff.
I know. I mean, that's in the DSM-5. Okay. The DSM 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Right. You just going to ignore it all. Oh my goodness. You know what I mean? And in the house that's haunted, bruh, get out the house, okay? Just ignorant. See, this is why I don't hang out with everybody. This is it right here, because they would get you killed.
Right, exactly. So, but you have to admit, if I want to push back a bit, if you have to admit that the persona that he is giving is definitely one that a lot of males will think, hey, that's the guy I want to be.
Right.
That's the guy I want to be. I want to be like him. I don't want to be this guy who's struggling in my job, struggling to get women, struggling to pay my bills. I want to be that guy.
And
right?
You know what? There's nothing wrong with that, right? Silly machismo is not necessarily the way to go, right?
So you don't think he's a divine masculine?
No. No.
All right. Let me get it out there.
No. But here's the situation, okay? I understand what I think he's trying to do. He's trying to incentivize men to be men. And I don't necessarily disagree with that, because I think that there's too many men that are in their feminine and don't really realize that, right? Okay. The one way to help with that is to begin to talk about this and to teach about it, right? We don't have to slide over. We don't have to slide over into super machismo in order to get there.
So hold that thought. So you said a lot of men are in their feminine. What does that mean?
It means that we have inadvertently slid over into our feminine when trying to correct our women who we feel are too much in their masculine. Okay. And if you listen to a lot of the discourse that's out there, they're going back and forth. The men are complaining. Oh, these women are asking for too much. I'm like, stop it. You know what I'm saying? And so, you're starting to see a lot of this because they feel the women aren't doing what they want them to do, right? These women are too difficult. They're not loyal to us anymore. Social media has made it so badly. Stop the whining. Stop the whining and learn about how the woman or the feminine thinks. Because when you learn one, it gives you clues into the other. Right? Stop it. She has the right to date anybody she wants to date. She has that right. We've been, as far as the masculine goes, we've been so entitled with this toxic masculinity perspective for so long, and now we see the feminine, the divine feminine, trying to emerge, which she needs to do, and we just really having a big problem with it. Oh, look at them! They ask for too much. You know what I'm saying? It just cracks me up. You know what I'm saying? And what they don't understand that is a good thing for all of us. It is a good thing. This is how we restore balance down here. We need her to assert herself. She doesn't need to be in a place where she's constantly being badgered and abused by us. See, you done got me all worked up with this guy. You know what I'm saying? We don't need to be in that space.
Smell your cologne through the screen. You sweating and everything.
I am sweating. You know what I'm saying? So that's the goal. That's why these conversations are great. We have daughters. We have wives. We have aunts. We have women who've lost their husbands. We have children who've lost their parents. Right?
And so
go ahead.
And so you're saying that guys like this don't play a role in fixing that?
I'm not going to judge him and say that that's necessarily the case. What I am saying is that perspective out there doesn't necessarily put us in the best light, or doesn't necessarily motivate us to learn more about the feminine. Okay? That perspective is not going to motivate us to do that. Is less inclined to do that. I mean, he's busy telling you, ignore depression. You know what I'm saying? Be a man, ignore depression. Like, what the, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of guys are like, yeah. Then when half of them jump through a window or jump off a cliff and commit suicide, you're going to say, Andrew Tate told me to do this?
Yeah.
So, on the one hand, it's great that people can have a platform and say anything. And I'm sure they may say that about us on the Hope Show too. on the other thing, you just got to be particular about what you're listening to and what you're really following. On the Hope Show, we try to encourage people to do the research and to learn about these things. Take the time and learn, basically.
Oh, so you're saying that he is not the divine masculine, an example, right?
No, he is.
Well,
no, he is not. He's an example of what it looks like when it's out of balance.
So have you ever heard of Myron Gaines?
Yes, I have.
Okay, well,
my son keeps me abreast of all of them.
All right, well, I'm gonna tell you right now that he ain't got nothing on Myron Gaines.
I know he doesn't.
We're gonna look at a little bit of Myron Gaines now. So I'm going to start this mid-conversation. This is a show called it's Battle of the Sexes, Grilling with Myron Gaines. All right.
He loves me and he's going to come to me. The girls I'm with are realistic. They get it.
The women that he's with, they probably have some daddy issues. They've got some self-esteem issues there. They're constantly seeking validation in the wrong places. Would you not hold more value as a high value man, knowing that you can have any girl and you can have that, but not giving in? Would that not make you mentally stronger, physically more manly, that you don't give in to temptations? Men that can commit themselves and stay loyal to one person are the sexiest men in this world.
Would you hold value if you could bench 225 pounds?
Yeah.
No, you wouldn't. No one cares. That's the same exact thing with you asking, would you hold value as a man if you were able to not have sex with a bunch of girls? That's a ridiculous question.
It's
because
not a ridiculous
we don't
question.
hold our value the same. You hold your value by not having sex with other people.
Yeah.
I demonstrate my value by being able to have sex with other girls.
I don't think we're going to agree on this topic.
You don't have to agree, but that's the reality of how men may select and how women may select.
Did you always have this mindset, or with money did you acquire this mindset?
Yeah, I've always pretty much.
Since you were young, you've always just said, yeah, you know what, men should be able to just f around.
Yeah.
And you don't think that's disrespectful to your partner?
Not at all, because men have to earn their value. So therefore, if you've earned your value, it's on you how you want to spend that value. Women don't earn their value, so they can't dictate how you spend yours.
Toxic guy.
When life gives you overripe bananas.
Dude, you know what? That was actually pretty entertaining, actually. Because on the one hand, I kind of understand what he's saying. It's just skewed. It's like turned up. It's like the bass is up too high.
What do you mean?
Well, it's kind of like high-end audio gear. You know, well, I was about to have an audio talk for a second.
Go for it.
But the bass, you have the bass and treble knobs, right? And when you turn that bass up, it drowns out the mid-range. You know what I'm saying?
Now, as an audiophile, I know exactly what you're talking about, but I'm not sure how this applies to Myron and toxic masculinity.
Yeah, he's pretty toxic, as she was saying.
Yeah.
You know, like, what are you gonna do? Like,
let's bring him back for a minute.
We need to accept them too. Like, you gotta have contrast down here.
Yeah.
So
Let's bring him back for a minute.
Okay.
There's women that really just don't care about money at all. I know in Miami that might sound right, but it's
dudes don't want to have sex with girls. Yeah.
Dudes that want to have sex with.
No, I just was saying something else ridiculous that isn't true.
Okay, well, it is true. There is women out there. I think you only know so many women because of the lifestyle that you've lived, obviously, and the ones you've been around. But in the real world, there's actually women that don't care about money. They're not chasing after rich men. They're not chasing after all of these things. They just want substance, love, and loyalty.
If the guy has certain things in place first.
Not necessarily. Women grow and build with their partners.
Women absolutely care about a man's ability to provide security, and that security a lot of times is contingent on how much money they earn. All girls are gold diggers. Some are just better at hiding the shovel. What do I mean by this? I mean, some girls are overt about it, saying, I only marry millionaires, or I only date millionaires. Cool. Shovel's right there. Everyone can see it. Some girls got the little fucking small shovel where they say stupid shit like, oh, I want a man that's ambitious. I want a man that has a good mindset, that's a hard worker. That's still a gold digger to a degree because you're banking on potential. All girls are gold diggers. Some are just better at hiding the shovel, guys. Women are like sports scouts. You go to a game, you see this guy, damn, this guy got potential. Okay. Some girls are willing to take a risk on that individual. Some are not. And they're like, no, I want him to be self-made and be ready to go when I get there. But the point is that all girls are gold diggers to a degree, and all girls care about a man's future.
I actually think he needs to date a man because he hates women so much. I know women that are happy being the breadwinners in their relationship.
Being the what?
The bread, like they earn the more money than their man.
They don't fuck that man no more.
But they do, and they have a healthy relationship, and that's just how they like their dynamic.
She don't respect him. She don't like him like that. She's probably talking to other guys.
Not all women.
All right, so
I don't totally disagree with him.
What part? What do you agree with him on?
So I mean, his interpretation of it,
dude, he is the most
gold diggers and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean his language. You know, he has a disrespectful language about it, or a toxic language. But he is right that
she said it best. I'm sorry for cutting you off, and I want
go ahead.
Hear what you think he said that was right. But she said it best. She was like, he hates women so much he needs to date a man, and that's what that's how it comes across to me.
Yeah,
that brother needs some penis, because I'm telling you, he clearly does not like vagina.
Yeah, seriously. He doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't.
I don't know what. I don't know what parental issues he has, but he is the definition of toxic. Regardless of those base and trouble points that you're going to make now, but he's the definition of just his whole approach to it is toxic, right?
Yes.
So you said you believe that some of the things he said were,
and I want to make a point, because guys like him speak to the frustration of men who feel emasculated, right? But what they do with their emasculation, they don't want to take an honest look in the mirror and see why they're struggling with this, with that, with that. They don't want to be honest about that. So it's easy. It's easier to just blame the women for not wanting them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and that's what it is. So he's going to have a following of guys like that. Okay, you don't have to. You can listen. You can get women and not be like that.
No.
Okay, obnoxious. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, right. See, you just want to get me all worked up, but okay.
Here's what's funny about it. What's funny about it is, you know, I may be above average looks at best. When I was younger with 6% body fat, I believe my physique was sexier than 99.95% of the men alive, including yours truly. But I always found it interesting that I would always meet girls who had dated guys like this. And you know what? It's easy to steal somebody from a guy like this, because there's no clue what he's doing.
Exactly.
If he's walking around with that type of attitude,
he
has no clue how to be a man. That is not manly. That is.
And here's another thing. What father will want their daughter to date a guy like that? We would kill him.
But a guy that thinks like that's not going to have a problem with that. You know, I was in a cafe.
Exactly.
I was in a cafe in North Carolina, and there were some guys at a table next to me, and I overheard their conversation. They worked at a big bank in North Carolina, that's stationed in North Carolina. And one of the guys was like, hey, man, he's admitting this to his friend. He's like, hey, man, I didn't realize until after I had a daughter that women were not disposable playthings for me. And he said this, and he was being sincere.
And I believe it.
And he learned that, I'm sure, from his daddy. And he learned it from his daddy's dad. And his daddy's daddy probably had the same philosophy. And it goes back to that whole thing that men in this country, and maybe outside of this country, but I'm only going to speak to America, men in this country have often defined themselves by what they own, property and slaves and women, right? And what they could buy, property and slave and women, right? So that has been passed down through generations, right? And encoded in the psyche of a lot of American men. Am I right or wrong about that?
No, you're absolutely right. You're right.
Even a broken clock is right twice a day, so I'll take that.
Exactly. And the worst thing that can happen, and it happens all the times, that men like that, they get women. They do find women, but you got to analyze what type of women that they find. You know, that's the other thing. People just look from the outside or whatever.
So you believe that there were some things that he said that were correct?
Yeah. When he was talking about the fact that women, and we talked about this on the last show with the Divine Feminine, that it is biology for women to expect men to provide and protect. Okay. Not a toxic version of it, but that is normal. It's not a bad thing. But he called them all gold diggers. Like, come on. You know what I'm saying? You know, she has the babies, so as to speak. And so the job of the man is to provide and protect the family. Okay, speaking from a biological perspective on that. So that is true. But the way he puts it out there, you know, it's just obnoxious the way he says it. Like, you know, so yeah, it's the same thing. It's kind of the same comment you made about Kevin Samuels, that the brother, it's not that he's totally wrong, but where's the love?
No love coming out of that brother.
No love at all.
No love coming out of that brother.
You know,
so we've looked at a couple of examples, and then we've got one more video clip, I believe, and then we're going to ask you, Terrace, to give us, the definition of what the divine masculine is, and some.
The first one I'm going is what these guys are and why it's a problem.
Perfect.
And what we see going on in the world right now. So yeah.
Perfect. Then we've got a special awards ceremony coming up at the end of the show, which again, Terrace voted on this but didn't realize he was voting on this. So we'll get to that as well. But let's see if we can find this one last video. So we've shown some guys who are toxic in relationships as they relate to women. The one thing that we also know is that beyond that and outside of that, guys can be toxic at work, right? You can have guys that run your department that are toxic. You can have guys that you share cubicle space with. You know, you're within proximity of their cubicle who can be toxic. But sometimes that toxicity and the lack of the divine masculine, I should say, shows up in a very, very big way for all of us to see. And so I'm going to show that now and see if we can talk about this guy who is really probably not very much in his divine masculine energy. Got it?
Mm-hmm. You're only 4 days into this, and the results have been incredible. Historic, really. Only the United States of America could lead this, only us. But when you add the Israeli Defense Forces, a devastatingly capable force, the combination is sheer destruction for our radical Islamist Iranian adversaries. They are toast, and they know it. Or at least soon enough, they will know it. And we have only just begun to hunt, dismantle, demoralize, destroy, and defeat their capabilities. Just 4 days in. We're playing for keeps. Our warfighters have maximum authorities granted personally by the president and yours truly. Our rules of engagement are bold, precise, and designed to unleash American power, not shackle it. This was never meant to be a fair fight, and it is not a fair fight. We are punching them while they're down, which is exactly how it should be. Iran cannot outlast us. We're going to ensure through violence of action and our offensive capabilities and our defensive capabilities, as I said, that we set the tone and the tempo of this fight. And that's why we don't talk about, you can say 4 weeks, but it could be 6, it could be 8, it could be 3. Ultimately, we set the pace and the tempo.
All right, man, there is so much to unpack in that. There is so much to unpack in that, right? And I mean the exact opposite of the divine masculine. I mean, who brags about destroying other lives? That's what he was doing. First of all, the fact that they changed the name of the department, which used to be the Department of Defense, which basically says it is our job to defend our country and keep America safe, whatever that means, right? And that could be through any means. It could be through counterintelligence. It could be through whatever. So they changed the name of the department to the Department of War, right? Which basically says we want to fight, right? It's like hanging a shingle out that says we want to fight, right? Which is what bullies do, right? That's what bullies do, right? And so he said something about changing the rules of engagement. The rules of engagement of war have been around for decades, hundreds of years, where you agree with your combatants. There are things that we're going to do and not do, right? To respect one another. We may fight, But, to put it in street terms, we can fight, we can stand out on the curb and throw fists. But part of the rules of engagement is that neither one of us can pick up a brick and hit the other person with a brick. So they basically were like, to hell with the rules of engagement, right? We're going to do what we want to do. He talked about hunting, talk about destruction and destroying. Man, like that sounds very masculine, right? But it doesn't sound very divine.
Right? Not at all.
And so what do you say about that?
Yeah, it's just more of what we're talking about. We see it playing out on a large on one of the biggest of stages, right? With these militaristic campaigns that are going on, and the way they're bragging about it, and the fact of the matter is, people are dying. Like you're killing people are dying, and we still don't know what the war is about.
Right. Yeah.
So while he's doing all this talking, he's not telling us why we're there.
Yeah. Well, we've changed the definition or the reason for the war, I think 4 times since it started. So, yeah. Totally agree with that. And that's, I mean, he comes across as a really, really masculine guy. It's that male aggression, right? Here's what I'm gonna do to you, and you're just gonna have to take it. But
and I think what's happening right now, the reason why there's so much discourse out there right now, you have the women, we see it as us, the feminine fighting against the masculine, is because again, we're trying to move towards balance. And we need to, as men, we need to redefine what masculinity looks like, right? And get back to how it was intended, so, and I see you have up the divine masculine one. I thought we was going to start with the domination instead of protection. I thought we was going to start with that slide set first.
Oh yeah, we are. So, but before we do, I want to dive in.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
And give some stats. There are a couple of different places where this came from. If you email us at thehopeshowcomments@gmail.com, if you want me to give you the sources, I can certainly give you the sources. And these are men who admitted that they are toxic, high level of toxic traits. Only 11% of men admit it. That's still 1 in 10. I think it's way higher than that. I would like to think.
Yeah.
That's probably more like 3 or 4 in 10. But here's an interesting point. If you go to the very next point, 23% of U.S. men believe that they should use violence to get respect. And 23%, if you do the math, is 1 in 4, right? So 1 in 4 American men, U.S. men, believe that they should use violence to get respect. That the only way to get respect.
Of course, they're going to believe that, right? Of course.
And that's regardless of race or age. 23% of U.S. men believe that they should use violence to get respect. 22% of men believe that they should not do household chores. Right? Those are people who I guess believe that there are some things that are gender specific and that they should not do it. I've got friends that I know kind of believe that as well. 44% of men feel that they should be the sole income earner. To me, that sounds like they just want to be in control, right? Guys that are like, well, I make all the money and I'm controlling all the money and I'm controlling you because I make all the money and I'm taking care of you. So that is
right. And unfortunately, for a lot of those where it's set up like that, they probably do believe that. They don't necessarily have to believe that because they're the sole income earner, right? It's probably in their family's best interest for them not to look at it that way. But I do agree with you. I'm sure a lot of them look at it that way and feel like they should have all the control. So yes.
Hey, I had a friend whose wife who made decent money, probably made a good $300,000 a year, whose wife got a couple of promotions in an industry that paid very well. And she was making more money than him. And he damn near lost his mind.
Yeah.
I mean, we went out for a beer and he was basically distraught that his wife was making more money than he was. And that led to him saying that I'm pretty sure she's cheating on me and blah, 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 because he was just distraught. And I was like, man, I don't care how much money you make or how much money I make. If my wife makes more money than me, I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that life is easy for her so she can keep making that money.
Exactly.
Like, regardless of what she makes, we should do that as men, but I'm not going to be caught up on the fact that she makes more money than me. But that is a very powerful dynamic that we hear people talking a lot about, right?
Yes.
Because we've kind of structured society. So we know that 44% of those men believe that they should be the sole income earner, which means they want the woman at home, probably barefoot and pregnant, cooking dinner for them, waiting on them hand and fist. But I don't know about you, but I wasn't raised by a woman that way, and none of the women that have ever been in my life have been that way. So I it's one that I cannot subscribe to. It should be a choice, but not the rule. And then the last one, which is an interesting one and an important one, 48% of surveyed high school boys felt that they had fallen victim to societal pressures of toxic masculinity, which means boys are being pressured into being toxically masculine.
Right.
That's happening more often than not. And so just wanted to share those. I wanted to give you the opportunity to talk about, because we just watched a bunch of videos, right? We watched from a couple of different perspectives. We had the guy who is wealthy, who clearly uses the internet to make money. And so some of his stuff may be clickbait, but he has a clear worldview that if you are a man, this is how you're supposed to live. A lot of it devalues women and promotes capitalism as central to his manhood. The next guy just has issues, right? The next guy clearly doesn't like women, pretends that he does, and's got significant issues, and not a guy that personally I could ever hang out with or spend time with.
Yeah, he just wants to express his anger at women for whatever.
Who knows what he's angry about?
Yeah.
And then the last guy is running the largest and most powerful military force in the world, and clearly has an approach to that is all about bravado and toxic masculinity and those traits. So those are the guys that we presented as an example. But I wanted to give you an opportunity to talk to our viewers tonight about what happens with all of this disconnected masculine energy.
Yeah, I'm gonna move briskly. I'm gonna move briskly through this. And Eric, I'm glad that you have the slide up there. I'm gonna talk quickly. So I hope everyone out there
there he is. Listen, let's go.
And let's go, right? So this is what happens when masculine energy becomes disconnected from the heart, humility, and balance. Okay. The shadow forms when strength loses compassion, when structure loses flexibility, and when power forgets its sacred purpose. So here are the primary distortions. Number one, domination instead of protection. Healthy masculine energy protects. Shadow masculine energy controls. It may assert power through intimidation, silence others to feel secure, mistake authority for superiority. At its core is fear of vulnerability, irrelevance, or loss of control. Okay, number two.
Right? Before you go, like I've always thought that they're basically humans. I've read this, I don't know from where. It might have been a Tony Robbins thing, that humans operate from 2 points of view. You either operate from love or you operate from, right?
Yep.
And that's pretty consistent. So the divine masculine guy operates from a position of love. The toxic one operates.
And I'm going to get to him. Okay. We're going to talk about what we're seeing right now. Number two, emotional suppression. The shadow teaches emotions are weakness, vulnerability is unsafe, tenderness is shameful, and this can lead to emotional numbness, difficulty with intimacy, explosive anger, often the only permitted emotion. When grief is buried, it often reemerges as aggression. And as men, we've both seen examples of that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Number three, hyper competitiveness. Healthy masculine energy strives towards excellence. Shadow masculine energy must win at all costs. It measures worth through status, achievement, comparison, and external validation. This creates chronic pressure and disconnection from authentic self-worth. Okay.
Are you talking about Michael Jordan?
Yeah, easy now.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Number four is rigidity. Structure becomes inflexibility. Beliefs become dogma. Leadership becomes authoritarian. Boundaries become walls. Rigidity often hides insecurity. a fear that if control loosens, identity collapse. Number 5, disconnection from the body. In the shadow masculine energy overrides exhaustion, ignores intuition, suppresses emotional signals. This can manifest as burnout, addiction, or compulsive productivity. When the body is ignored long enough, it eventually demands attention. Number 6, and this is what we see from the United States Army, right? 6, exploitation of power. Power without conscience becomes exploitation. This can appear as manipulation, sexual coercion, economic control, spiritual authority abuse. Shadow masculine energy seeks to possess rather than partner. Isn't that what Andrew Tate said? That our wives are our possessions?
Yep.
Okay. Yep. Number 7, this is the big one. Fear of the feminine. The shadow masculine often fears emotional depth, relational interdependence, women's autonomy, its own softness, because embracing the feminine requires surrendering rigid control. So they're always going to attack the feminine, right? Number 8, isolation. Many men shaped by shadow conditioning feel alone, even in relationships. They feel unseen beyond their performance. They feel love for what they provide and not who they are. And they're pissed off about that. Isolation is one of the deepest wounds of distorted masculinity. And the root wound, at its core, the shadow masculine is usually rooted in unprocessed grief, because he doesn't understand depression, of course, shame around vulnerability, a belief that love must be earned through strength. It is armor built for protection that becomes a prison.
So here's what's interesting about that. You mentioned the U.S., and listening to you describe those and give descriptions, we suffer from at a national level. It seems like the image that we're given to the world is number 1, domination, set of protection. Yep. We're doing the domination on the streets of America, where we're sending troops into American cities, and we're doing it under the guise of we're going to make America safe. We're going to get the whatever they say, get the criminals. It really is domination instead of protection. So that's number 1 we're guilty of. Number 2, emotional suppression. There is no emotion.
Exactly.
The way that they're approaching this war. Like, it's like they don't, if you listen, I know everybody's got their news choice, whatever news channel you choose. There are some news channels that are not showing the images of what we are seeing out of Iran. And whether or not you agree or disagree with them fundamentally, whether or not you agree with their religious practices or choices, they are human beings that we share the planet with. And you need to watch some news sources that show you the destruction that is happening in that country. When you see the neighborhoods that are being pummeled and the people that woke up this morning, right, and walked through a street that they lived on for years that all of a sudden is covered in rubble and shrapnel, it is a sad sight. So obviously they are devoid of being able to have any emotional context about the destruction that we're causing. Number 3, hyper competitiveness. We always hear we're the biggest, baddest military.
Exactly.
You know, we're the best. Make America great again. It's all hyper competitive, right?
Yes.
Number 6, exploitation of power. You hit that one already. Number 7, fear of the feminine. They go out of their way, to be ultra masculine and to denigrate female reporters. Just all the way down to the commander in chief at one point, saying that you can just walk up to them and grab them, by the crotch. Like, all of that is a fear of femininity and insecurity. And then number 8, isolation. The whole concept of Make America Great Again is we don't need anybody else, right? And so it seems like as a nation, we are touching 6 of the 8 traits that define disconnected masculine energy.
Yes.
So with that, Terrace, let's talk about what the defined masculine actually looks like. So we spent a lot of time talking about what you don't want to be. So let's talk a little bit about those core traits that define who you want to be if you're striving to be the divine masculine.
So when healthy and integrated, it expresses itself through grounded strength rather than dominance. And here are the core traits. Number 1, presence. The divine masculine is deeply present. It holds space. It listens without needing to fix. It stands steady in chaos. Presence is not force. It is grounded awareness. Okay? Number 2, integrity. Alignment between word and action. The divine masculine keeps commitments, values truth, acts from principle rather than impulse. Integrity creates safety, and safety allows love to flourish.
Yep.
Okay.
No problem with that.
Yep. Number 3, purpose and direction. This energy moves towards vision. It asks, number 1, what am I building? Number 2, what am I protecting? Number 3, what am I responsible for? We can't get we can't get the government to tell us this.
Right.
We're in war and they haven't answered any of those questions.
Right. Right.
You see?
Yeah.
It provides structure so creativity, often linked to the feminine, can manifest in the world. Well, you're not going to have that when you're busy trying to oppress the feminine, right? Number 4, protective strength, not control, protection. Healthy masculine energy shields without smothering, defends without dominating, uses power in service of care. It stands between harm and what is sacred. Number 5, decisiveness, the ability to choose and act. Where the feminine may expand possibilities, the masculine selects a path and moves forward. It transforms potential into reality. Number 6, discipline. Sacred discipline is devotion in action. It builds foundations, it follows through, it sustains effort. Discipline here is not harshness, it is a commitment to growth. Number 7, we are always asking the women to be accountable, right? Well, actually, accountability is part of the masculine, right? The divine masculine owns its impact. It admits mistakes, it repairs harm, it learns and evolves. This is mature power, right? This is the path that we're trying to be on, Dr. Lamont, right? Number 8, healthy boundaries. Boundaries create clarity. This energy says yes with conviction, no without guilt. Boundaries are not walls, they are containers for respect.
Mm-hmm.
Number 9, courage. Courage to feel deeply, stand alone if necessary, protect the vulnerable, and face shadow. True masculine strength includes emotional bravery. Well, you're not going to move to bravery if you're so afraid about being vulnerable in the first place.
Right.
Yep. Number 10, at its highest expression, the divine masculine is devoted to love, to truth, to service, to something greater than ego. It is the steady flame that guards the sacred fire. Balanced expression, when distorted by ego or patriarchal conditioning, masculine energy can become controlling, aggressive, emotionally disconnected, and power-seeking. But in its divine form, it is grounded, loving, and steady. That's
there
what
it is. Listen, thank you, Terrace, for describing me. Kidding. Totally kidding. Totally kidding. As a guy who was probably more ego-driven than most in my 20s, yeah, I'm completely kidding. But that does shape.
Well, you know what, Eric, and you know what, and that was funny, by the way. I want to say this last part because I think it's pretty powerful, and I think you'll agree.
Okay.
You know, I said it's grounded, loving, steady, protective, and purposeful. It does not compete with the divine feminine. It complements it.
Mm-hmm.
The feminine inspires, the masculine builds. The feminine flows, the masculine directs. Together, they create wholeness.
Yeah.
That's what we're going for, brother.
Makes complete sense.
Okay.
Makes complete sense. So we really appreciate your insight. Let's do one last thing and let's talk and give the listeners an idea for those guys that are out there, how they can cultivate the divine masculine in them. And for the ladies, if you've got a guy in your life, this is how you can help him cultivate the divine masculine in him. So I'll turn that back over to you. And then I got a surprise for you. We've got some awards before we get to your prayer and get out of here tonight.
Okay, so it's about becoming steady, principled, and embodied. Healthy masculine energy provides structure without control, strength without cruelty, and direction without rigidity. These practices help develop the grounded presence, whether you're a man or simply integrated this archetype within yourself. Number 1, practice radical integrity. Masculine energy stabilizes through alignment. Daily practice. Keep small promises. Speak truth clearly but respectfully. Follow through even when it's inconvenient. Yep. Integrity builds inner solidity, and solidity builds trust in yourself and from others. Ask yourself, does my behavior match my values?
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Before you move on, like I make a point of trying my best to never make a promise that I can't keep. I will say I will try. I'm going to try to do that, but I use the word promise only when I am 1,000% sure that I can deliver on it, which is part of.
You know what? I can attest. You've been in my life for some years now. I can attest you do a pretty good job of that, and I can say that as another man.
Yeah.
So
thank you.
Good. Yep. Number 2, strengthen the body. The masculine archetype is deeply connected to embodiment. Practices, weight training, right? You go with that. Martial arts, hiking or endurance training, cold exposure done safely, breath work focused on control and discipline. Physical discipline builds mental resilience and energetic containment. It's not about aesthetics. It's about inhabiting your physical power responsibly. Okay. Number 3, and this is hard for a lot of men. Develop emotional mastery, not suppression. Healthy masculine energy feels deeply, but it does not become ruled by emotion. Practice naming your emotions accurately. I told you I struggle with that, right?
Yeah, you admitted that. Yeah.
Yep. Pausing before reacting. Sitting with discomfort instead of escaping it. Journaling anger rather than projecting it, right? Emotional regulation is strength. Emotional avoidance is fragility disguised as toughness.
Mm-hmm.
Number 4, create structure in your life. Masculine energy builds containers. Examples, morning or evening routines. You seem to be pretty good with that. Clear goals with timelines. Financial responsibility. Organized living space. Structure supports creativity and freedom. It does not suffocate it. Discipline becomes devotion when it serves purpose. Okay? Number 5, clarify your purpose. This is you again, Dr. Lamont. The healthy masculine thrives on direction. Reflect. What am I building? Number 2, who or what am I protecting? Number 3, what legacy do I want to leave? Right? Purpose transforms raw ambition into meaningful action. Without purpose, energy scatters. With purpose, it channels. Okay? Mm-hmm. Number 6, practice protective presence. This is subtle but powerful. In relationships, listen fully without interrupting. Stand up calmly when something is unjust. Hold emotional steadiness when others are overwhelmed. Protective presence does not dominate, it reassures. It says energetically, you're safe here. See what I'm saying? Yeah, I know you get it. Number 7, cultivate healthy boundaries. Say yes when you mean yes. Say no without apology when necessary. Boundaries are clarity. Clarity prevents resentment. Okay? Healthy masculine energy does not overextend to prove worth. Number 8, seek brotherhood or accountability. Isolation breeds distortion. Find men's circles, mentors, accountability partners, therapy or coaching. Healthy masculine energy sharpens and softens in community. Iron sharpens iron, but it must be done consciously. Number 9, and people leave this out, integrate the feminine. Masculine energy becomes distorted when it rejects the feminine. Balance strength with empathy, intuition, creativity, and rest. True power is integrated power. And number 10, serve something greater than ego. At its highest expression, masculine energy is in service. Service to family, community, truth, spiritual principle, and justice. When strength serves love, it becomes sacred. A simple daily alignment ritual each morning asks, what must I face today? Where must I lead? Where must I soften? What is my responsibility? Then act accordingly. Healthy masculine energy is not loud. It is steady. It does not need constant recognition. It builds quietly and protects fiercely when needed.
Love it. Love it. Thank you very much. Look, I do have to call you out though. You said one thing that basically I got to question whether or not MJ falls into that category. And the thing about masculinity not being loud means I got to call out my other favorite villain.
Oh my goodness.
Stephen A. Smith is the loudest dude on the goodness. Not very divinely masculine, which
you don't know how that man is when he's not on first take or whatever. You don't know how he is.
Yes, I do. I used to work with him. It's the same cat at all times.
But maybe he's evolved now. Maybe he's a different person.
I highly doubt that. Anyway, so I wanted to throw this out there before we get to our awards and give you the opportunity to give us a prayer to send us home. There are resources. There are a couple things. The first one is www.everyman.com, EVRYMAN, everyman.com is a website that you can go to. It says men don't thrive alone, which is something you referenced. You need a crew, guys who push you, call you out and have your back.
Yes.
This is where you find them online, in person, doing real things to make you stronger and more grounded. The most important thing is more grounded. You can join the Brotherhood. It's been mentioned in the New York Times, Men's Journal, GQ, Men's Health, etc. It's www.everyman.com, EVRYMAN. So I wanted to get that out there and make sure that you guys had access to that. Terrace and I are planning a Divine Masculine workshop. If you want more details about that, email www.thehopeshowcomments@gmail.com. Again, www.thehopeshowcomments@gmail.com. We will make sure we get the information for you. It's an opportunity for you to sit in the room with other men and work through these things and move yourself closer to the divine masculine. So, Mr. Wright, Mr. Wright, I have here on the phone. We're running out of time, so I'm not going to get to that, Terra Strength. But what I am going to do is get to the next slide, which Terrace and I spent a lot of time working on this. These are the Terra Strength Divine Masculinity Meter Rejects. Let me say that again. The Terra Strength Divine Masculinity Meter Rejects. Terrace has a Divine Masculinity meter. I'm having problems saying it. Divine Masculinity Meter. These are the people who we ran through the meter who were rejected as not being the Divine Masculine. First on the left, you see Pete Hegseth, the chairman of the Department of War.
Oh my goodness!
That tattoo and that slick back hair, not gonna make it. The guy in the middle, who you said divine masculinity is not loud. You know, he's the loudest man on the planet. Stephen A. Smith, thank you for being on the list.
How you gonna have the goat up there? You know what I'm saying?
And
just no.
We got MJ.
Oh my goodness!
Unfortunately, not very divine. His teammates hated him. Won a lot.
Oh my goodness!
Won a lot of MVPs. Would not want to play him in a one-on-one basketball game, but also would definitely not want to be one of his boys because the boys that he had 15 years ago are no longer his boys. They don't speak. So anyway.
No, Charles Barkley and him are still close. But anyway.
They don't know. I heard Charles say that they haven't talked in years. What are you talking about?
My goodness.
Google it. Anyway, so that's that. So because Terrace came up with the people who are not divinely masculine, we wanted to put out there the people who the masculine meter thinks are divinely masculine. And these are the best examples of divinely masculine.
You have lost your cotton picking mind. You know what I'm saying? See, this is what happened. Okay,
these are the divine masculine winners for this week.
Oh my!
Greatest entertainer of all time.
On the back of. Oh my God!
They're standing next to each other. The goats. They're not having sex. It may look like no. There are two goats in that picture, just like there are two goats on the screen. The greatest of all time and the greatest basketball.
Oh yeah. Okay. You know what? Oh my God. Now I got a headache. I have a headache.
I wanted to close with that. Thank you, Terrace, for having the divine masculine meter. We now know the people we should aspire to be. I do want to, in all sincerity, and then turn it over to you for a prayer, I do want to give a shout out to Dr. Rob. He knows who he is. To Malik, who knows who he is. Malik happens to be my son, who I learned a little bit about what being a man really means every day. And to my brother Lawrence, who, you know, I grew up in a home with no dad. My parents separated when I was 1. We didn't have running water or electricity for a good chunk of my childhood. But there was between my sister Cheryl and my brother Lawrence, they kind of laid the path for what manhood should look like. So shout out to Lawrence, because a lot of stuff we talk about, I know he lives every day. Sometimes I think he needs a tinfoil hat with some of his conspiracies. But beyond that, he's gonna kill me for that. But he knows we have these healthy debates all the time. We sit around. Like, you get the maniacal doubt thing, which is part of my personality on this show. We sit around as a family and just debate stuff, right? And largely political. I learned this from a little kid. My brother on one side of the table, my mom on the other side of the table, and me kind of in the middle, just watching our family debate issues and having these healthy conversations. And then they would go at it, kind of where I learned it. But from that, again, I learned a lot from him about what being a man is supposed to be. So with that, there's strength. I'm going to turn it over to you and ask you to take us home with a prayer. Hopefully, folks, you learned something tonight. Again, the Hope Show comments at gmail.com if you're interested in diving deeper into this with us. But with that, Terrace, I'm going to turn it over to you. Let's pray our way out of here.
And you know what? And thanks for that, Eric. And your brother and your sister, they did a great job with you. I just want to say that. Prayer for the return of the divine masculine. Holy source of life, breath within all breath, creator beyond name and form, we call forth the restoration of the divine masculine in its true and sacred design, where strength has been twisted into control. Restore it as protection. Where leadership has hardened into domination, restore it as service. Where silence has buried emotion, restore the courage to fill. Awaken the steady presence that does not need to conquer to be worthy. Awaken the integrity that stands firm without cruelty. Awaken the discipline that builds what love inspires. May the masculine remember that power is not possession, it is stewardship, not force, but responsibility. Heal the lineage of fathers and sons who were taught that tenderness was weakness. Heal the hearts that armored themselves to survive. Return to us the guardian spirit, the one who protects the vulnerable, who honors the earth as sacred ground, who keeps promises, who chooses truth over ego. Let courage rise, not the courage to dominate, but the courage to be accountable, the courage to apologize, the courage to stand for justice, the courage to love without fear. May the divine masculine walk beside the divine feminine in balance, not above, not below, but in sacred partnership. Restore the pillar of strength that upholds compassion. Restore the fire that warms rather than burns. Restore the will that serves wisdom. May men and all who carry this energy remember who they are beneath conditioning. Steady, devoted, clear, and kind. And may the world feel safer because this sacred strength has returned. So may it be, and so it is.
Amen, brother. Amen.
All right.
Hey, man, I love you. Hope Show family, we love you guys. Thanks for tuning in tonight.
And Eric, remind everyone that we're looking for couples for our show at the end of the month. Relationship stuff. Yep.
So again, the Hope Show comments at gmail.com. Our next show is on relationships. If you've got a relationship that you want to talk about, you need some advice about, you can come on as a couple. You can come on as an individual. We're going to dive into it. We've got a couple people lined up. We're looking for a few more. The Hope Show comments at gmail.com. The next show is on relationships. So join us and we're going to have a good time. All right?
Absolutely.
All right.
Dr. Lamont.
Yes.
That was a fire show. Okay.
You guys have a great night. We'll see you next time.
All right.
I hope so.
Good night.
Night.